Welcome to Second Take, the show that focuses on the issues behind the news. There is growing pressure on mining companies from banks, governments and human rights watchers to optimize social opportunity and to reduce social risk in the areas where they mine. Mining Weekly editor Martin Creamer is with me in the studio today to unpack this issue. Welcome to the show, Martin.
Thanks, Shannon.
Can you tell us more about what social risk mitigation is?
Yes, these days I think a lot of CEOs are more concerned about what's happening on the surface than what's happening underground because, it appears that the soft issues have become the hard issues. They have got aircraft that can fly over an area and determine how much metal is in the ground quite easily, and they can find areas where they really want to mine. But then they get concerned because there are social issues, because people are living on top of the deposit, or there are warring parties close by, and they have to engage social practitioners to then try and mitigate this risk. And some of the actions that these practitioners take is fascinating because, they find that you go into a jungle area and you think, people are really going to be difficult to deal with. And you see them watching Chelsea, and watching Ivory Coast's striker scoring for Chelsea, and they've got TV, and they're well informed. And then you try and build up a team of local people, and you find that many of them have degreed from world universities. So in actual fact, the challenges can be met, but always with the cooperation of the local people.
Now, the ability of a company to obtain a social license to mine is becoming highly regarded. Why is that?
Well, juniors can go in and they can do the normal thing of getting rid of the geological risk and telling you how to mine and mitigating on the mining risk. But if there are social issues, it's going to be hard for those juniors to sell that to the majors. And often juniors go in and they do the hard yards. They do all the early exploration work, and traditionally they've sorted out geological risk and mining risk and then packaged their particular assets for sale. But these days, going to new frontiers, those majors are dead scared to damage the reputation of their companies and cause all sorts of shareholder reaction. And so they need to have a social license as well. And although this still comes in inverted commas because you've got to get officially your mining license, that social license has become crucial.
Now, Anglo-American CEO Cynthia Carroll is a firm believer that mining activities should uplift local economies. What is Anglo doing in this regard?
Anglo's got a new procedure that they use with regard to making sure that they mitigate social risk. But I think Cynthia's comment that mining should create the spin-off to benefit the local community, and that the local community should be aware of that benefit. So you need to communicate quite well. Is definitely valid, and that wealth in the ground, particularly with the sort of deposits that some of these major companies go for, tier 1 deposits, there should be really a tangible upliftment of the near mine communities, and people are concentrating on doing that because that near mine community can become your first line of defense when there's any trouble.
Martin, which company would you say is the benchmark of optimizing social opportunity?
Well, social risk practitioners that I spoke to, and Synergy, which was giving us a lot of exposure to this, and Paul Capellas, he points to gold companies like Newmont that have actually gone from zero to hero because they've had quite a lot of uphill when it comes to social issues. He speaks highly of AngloGold Shanty, and also of the big majors like BHP Billiton. So there are a lot of people creating benchmarks in how you deal with social issues, particularly with regard to having to relocate people. You've got to be very, very sensitive. But it is being done, and it's being done in quite an efficient way, and it's being done with the full cooperation of the local people, and that's how it has to be.
Well, it's good to hear some good news. Thank you so much for your time, Martin.
Pleasure, Shannon.
That's the show for today. Join us again next time for more news and insight into what's happening in the mining world.